Emma used to be my bestest friend. I sat next to Emma in Mrs. Moyer's class, and that's how we first met. After a little while, we did everything together. At recess, we would color in my coloring books and race to see who was the fastest. I always was, of course, and I even shared my cookies with her at lunchtime, something I never do with anyone else. We even acted like each other, at least most of the time. Sometimes Emma didn't eat her magic red Skittles, and she would get angry and yell lots. But one day, Emma came to class and she had the prettiest mittens in the whole wide world. They were all pretty with big white polka dots and little white bow on the top of the wrists. Emma showed them for show and tell and didn't take them off all day, not even to color. It was that day that she showed me her magic Skittles and told me that she didn't need them anymore. She explained to me that they tasted yucky anyway, and she threw them away every day after that. I didn't get why she didn't like Skittles anymore. I mean, I always did, but that was Emma. It was after the day she started wearing those mittens that we stopped being bestest friends. Emma started being mean, and we stopped coloring together, and we didn't race, and she told me that my cookies were all dirty. And now I know my cookies aren't dirty. My mommy put them in little bags for me, and she always washed her hands. Emma started telling the kids at our lunch table that their food was all dirty, even the ones with the cartoon lunch boxes, and I knew that wasn't true. And one day she just yelled at us and said that all our food was so dirty that she couldn't even sit with us. And she started to sit all alone and just stared at her mittens because even her food was dirty now. I think mittens make people really sick because Emma never ever took hers off and she got all white and little. Her hair was all icky and she smelled kind of funny too, like when Mommy would forget to clean the refrigerator. And she decided to sit by herself in class and all she did was fiddle with her mittens in the little cubby under her desk and sharpen her pencils a lot. And she didn't do her worksheets or answer Mrs. Moyer or even go to recess, and she spent her recess in the bathroom now. It had been a long time since I'd talked to Emma, and she looked even sicker and whiter, and her skin and hair got all ugly, and she got really, really small. Even her mittens had funny-looking stains on them, and she really loved those mittens more than anything. All she ever did was fiddle with her mittens and whisper about all the dirty stuff and tell herself that it was okay because she was clean. It was this day that I would talk to her again. It was recess, and I tripped over my shoelaces into some mud. Mrs. Moyer told me to go to the bathroom and wash myself off. I walked in and I saw the back of Emma, who was all turned around. I said hi to her and went to go get some paper towels from the dispenser, and I saw that Emma's mittens were on the sink. "Want to play a secret game?" Emma asked me, still looking at the wall with her hands up to her face, like she was counting for hide and go seek. And she made funny sounds too, like my puppy did when we fed him. "How do you play?" I asked. I tell you a secret and you never tell anyone," she said as she made more little sounds. "Okay," I told her. "I found something that wasn't dirty." "I'm not dirty." She turned around and I screamed. I ran real fast, like when Emma would race with me. I realized that she never sharpened her pencils under her desk, and she had broken sharpener, and she had her broken sharpener in one hand, and the one where the plastic was torn off. Parts of Emma's hands were missing and torn out and shaved off and bitten, and other parts were black and yellowish stuff coming out, and she had little pieces stuck in her lips and her teeth. And I ran and I cried into Mrs. Moyer's hip. I didn't want to play the secret game. I told her that Emma's mittens were eating her, and she laughed at me and told me that mittens couldn't eat people. But I cried and I cried until Mrs. Moyer left and to go talk to Emma about scaring me. Emma wasn't in class for a long time after that, and the principal said that no one could wear gloves or mittens anymore. And we got new desks without cubbies in them, and the school nurse had everyone come into her office, one at a time, to look at our hands. All the kids in my class got papers for our mommies taped to our backpacks, and they were all about Emma. and my mommy said I couldn't be her friend ever again. When Emma did come back, she still got to have a mitten, one little empty blue mitten. And her other mitten ate her hand clean off, and she had a smooth place all around her wrist instead. And Mrs. Moore let her wear it over the place where her hand used to be, because everyone kept looking at the little stub. And Emma didn't talk to anyone, and she didn't color, and sometimes I watched her stare blankly out the window and biting at the inside of her cheeks. And she would whisper to herself that her mouth, it wasn't dirty.